national result, yes responses, 7,817,247, representing 61.6% of clear responses. That's 61.6% of clear responses were yes. No responses, 4,873,987, representing 38.4% of clear responses.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It is your boy Goldy, and I wanted to say hooray because same-sex marriage, the postal survey has been announced in favour, which is great, and hopefully this means that those lovely idiots over in Canberra stop wasting us taxpayers' time with these useless surveys. They should have just passed this themselves. Why are they getting the public to make the decisions for them? This is a no-brainer. So anyway, that's really great news. And to anyone that's watching this that feels that, you know, people of the same sex shouldn't marry, I put this to you. If someone else isn't doing anything to hurt you or to hurt anyone else or to hurt themselves, then what puts you in a position of authority to decide for their life whether or not they want to get married? It doesn't. And there are worse things going on in the world that we really need to worry about than people being in love and happy. I mean, I fail to see why people would find fault with that other than, you know, just being ignorant. And I mean, it's been going on since the dawn of time. You know, there's been people in same-sex marriage, well, not marriages, but relationships. So it's nothing new. It has happened before. It is happening now, and it'll happen later in the history of mankind. So embrace it. You know, you're just wasting energy trying to fight the inevitable, and that is equality should be for everyone. And I'm so happy. Just a very quick video to tell you guys the great news. Most of my viewers might be in the States, but I know that same-sex marriage was passed over there not so long ago, which is great news that both two first world countries such as Australia and America are now finally caught up, you know, put the old deprecated laws behind them and have, you know, caught up to reality. I mean, the thing is, marriage is just purely a statement to others these days. It's nothing to do with your partner. You know, one does not have to take vows or be legally joined to their partner to want to spend the rest of their lives together. It is an outdated institution, marriage. However, I'm happy that people of all backgrounds are now allowed to partake in said outdated traditions. Good on them, I say, good on them. And don't feel that, you know, because society tells you, oh, your relationship is nothing unless you're married. Don't buy that for a second. That hype is propagated by marketing companies that want to promote you on the idea that you're nothing unless you spend a lot of money on some ridiculous wedding party. So don't fall for that for a second. You know, don't feel that what you have to do in life is a series of bullet points of go to school, go to university, have children, and be married. You know, you don't need to tick off each one of those. You can decide what you want to do for yourself in your own life and make what you want out of your own life. And really, it's no one else's business whether or not you and your partner should be married, because that is between you and your partner, not you and the rest of the world. The main thing is, as long as you're in a happy and loving relationship where you feel fulfilled and good and take care of each other and love each other deeply, that's all that matters. That's all that's important in life. Don't worry about a marriage contract. But if you want to do it, by all means, go for it. Spend the money. Do the devil's work. Anywho, hope you guys enjoy this video. A bit of a light twist on a bit of a serious subject. I am so happy for the results, and I hope you are too. If you're happy about the results, upvote this video. Upvote? No, that's Reddit. What am I thinking about? Like this video and please subscribe for more. I would love to also know your comments down below in the comments section. Feel free to sound off on your views on marriage. Okay, until next video, I will catch you all next time. I love you so much and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, guys. Goldy out. Bye. Bye. Bye.
But it's not just the streets and the rallies where we're trying to cover responses to this decision of the Australian people today. We're also going into the homes of people who presumably now look forward to marriage, same-sex couples, that is. So Michael Coggan is a reporter in our Adelaide newsroom. He's done just that, visited the home of a same-sex couple. Michael Coggan, let's hear from him now.
You've seen the result. What do you think?
Oh, relieved, obviously, that it's an overall yes. Disappointed, perhaps, by the low level, the sort of, not a narrow margin, but it's not an overwhelming endorsement of our, equality, I'd say. It still means that there's a lot of people walking around out there that actually would prefer that we didn't have equality. And that's, that doesn't make you feel good. We're also now in the position of, we have this yes, but it's still got to go through the Parliament, just as it would have done 18 months ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago. So although it's relief, it's not euphoria, it's not really jubilation right now, because there's still this work to be done. And it means that we can go forward, I guess, but I'm hoping that we will see politicians with a lot more fortitude and backbone than we've seen previously, who are prepared to actually ensure that this is going to be true equality with marriage rather than marriage with discrimination. So, yeah.
Elise, what do you think?
For me, it's a foregone conclusion from the start. All the polls showed the politicians that the majority of Australians wanted to legalise same-sex marriage and to have equal marriage. It's been a huge waste of money and it's actually been a huge strain on our community. I've been out for probably nearly 20 years and I don't think I've ever felt so fragile in terms of feeling like I have a right to exist and other people
Standing in judgment of that?
Well, yeah, standing in judgment, or why should they have a right to have a say about whether I'm as human as them or I have a right to marry? That's the job of politicians, to make good decisions on behalf of minorities, and that hasn't happened in this case. It's gone to a public survey, and it's caused a lot of people in our community heartache, and I think that's disappointing. And although we've got a good result today, it's a result that politicians probably knew about 18 months ago and could have just voted on. And we could have had a free vote in Parliament and could have all been done and dusted.
Can you contemplate the possibility of marriage? Is it something you're thinking about?
Oh, we've been contemplating it for a long time. And, I'm Scottish, so we could have got married in the British consulate, but unfortunately we'd have to go to Melbourne to do that. And, we thought, well, we'll wait. It'll happen eventually. It will. There is an inevitability about this. It does seem crazy that it has taken Australia so long, and we're not over the finishing line yet. But we have big families, so we would love to be able to stand with our families and celebrate our relationship, because we're going to be together forever. And it would be nice to have the legal protection, not just the ceremony and the beautiful day, but for a same-sex couple who, we've already had to fight to change a law to have our son recognised as my son as well. And you get tired of fighting for things. You get tired of saying, look, please, can we just be equal with everybody else, and can we not have to fight? Can we not have to fight for our superannuation? Can we not have to fight for respect if one of us goes into hospital and we want to be recognised as each other's next of kin or partners? It only takes one homophobic staff member or nurse to actually make life really, really difficult. And so for us, marriage equality doesn't mean, oh great, we're all just going to go out and get married. It actually, as Elise says, it means that children can grow up in families knowing that their family has the same rights as other families. They can grow up knowing that they can move into social institutions that all other people can move into if they're gay. And we can expect the same legal rights as everybody else. And to be honest, it does seem absolutely crazy that it's taken this long. And the argument that you have the same rights as a de facto heterosexual couple just doesn't hold. You know, we know that it doesn't hold, and because there's so many subtle ways in which the laws can be, or not just laws, but in social situations, you're not recognised in the same way. And just yesterday, a friend, put on Facebook about how her partner was late home from work, and she was worried. Well, how will they ring me? Will I be the person that they ring if she's taken to hospital? These are the kind of things that go through our minds when we walk down the street and we hold hands. Elise slips her hand into mine, and I do a little check. Where are we? Who might be around? No, heterosexual couples don't have that feeling, and I would like to live in a society in a few years' time when this whole debate has been done and dusted, and think, well, this is one area of life where this is now considered to be normal. Gay couples get married, heterosexual couples get married, gender diverse people get married. This is a non-issue. So I'm looking forward to a few years when it's all a non-issue.
Looking to the future, I think we can chalk another one up there in our intended marriage tally. We've had a few pledges already in our coverage since the decision came down from the chief statistician about 2 hours, just under 2 hours ago now, telling us or informing us that 61% of Australians, more than 7 million in fact, have voted in support of same-sex marriage. And we are trying to cover not just the human perspective but also the political one. So we're going to go back now to Sydney and Prince Alfred Park, which is the scene of the big Yes campaign gathering there throughout the morning. We're joined now by Labor's Deputy Leader, Tanya Plibersek, who has been there for the function. Tanya Plibersek, this day greets you with a smile. It seems, was the process worth it to get the result and to talk about this as you do from that rally this morning?
I'm sorry, Greg, it's very hard to hear you here. I'm assuming that you've asked me about the win today for the Yes campaign, and I can tell you it's just a fantastic feeling here in Prince Alfred Park, not just because there's been a win for the Yes campaign, but because of the size of the win. This sends an unequivocal message now that Parliament should just get on and legislate for marriage equality. There's a consensus bill being introduced into the Senate today, and every parliamentarian who supports marriage equality should get behind this bill. If it passes through the Senate quickly, it can go through the House of Representatives when we return, and we can have marriage equality by Christmas.
So those speakers really are blaring there, Tanya Plibersek. I will hazard an attempt at a second question. If you can manage to hear me, just that process, was it worth it? Was it worth going through the process to get the result that you're talking about there today?
No, because this is the result that we always expected. Polling for years has shown that a majority of Australians support marriage equality. The Australian public have been way ahead of their politicians on this for years. It's also been very difficult to push this conflict into families. GLBTI Australians saying to their mums and dads, do you support my right to my relationship? And of course, overwhelmingly hearing a yes, but for those who've heard a no from family and friends, that has been devastating. And we know that calls to crisis lines have increased very dramatically during this time. And Greg, I mean, just the money. I've got a homeless medical service in my electorate that closed this year after 40 years of operation because this government couldn't find $800,000 a year, but they can find $122 million to allow them to avoid making a decision for a few more months. It hasn't been worth it, but today's result is a fantastic result.
And David Kalish, the chief statistician, has actually indicated he thinks there'll be some savings on that figure. It might come in under $100 million. But just with the process, Tanya Plibersek, that lies ahead, we'll just try one more question. You clearly expect that the Parliament will do its job and you will be no impediment to this, I presume, when Parliament resumes on the 27th of November?
Well, we know that there is a consensus bill being introduced into the Senate. This bill has already been through a Senate inquiry. Labor, Liberals, Nationals, Xenophon, Greens all support the bill that will be presented to the Senate today. that bill can swiftly pass the Senate and it can be decided on in the last sitting week in November or the first sitting week in December when the House of Representatives returns. That's what should happen. All of the talk of an alternate bill or dozens of amendments, this is from the people who have already wasted Australia's time and money trying to delay marriage equality. Australians, having voted for marriage equality, will not tolerate more time and more money being wasted by the opponents trying to delay the inevitable.
All right, well, it is a testing challenge to be interviewed from Party Central, Tanya Plibersek, with the speakers blaring there, so we might wrap it up and thank you at this point for your perseverance in that party atmosphere there at Prince Alfred
It's a great party to be part of, Greg.
Sure.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tanya Plibersek. Okay, so that is at the main event there in Sydney, and it sounds like parties will be breaking out all over that city, if not elsewhere around the country. We'll bring you more coverage in the hours. The Liberal backbencher Trevor Evans, and a strong supporter of same-sex marriage, joining us in the studio now. And Trevor, this is the culmination of a long-held desire by you to get this agenda moving and resolved. The emotion, the feeling, first of all?
Well, the feeling is one of relief in one sense and also immense joy. This is a very significant day, and more than that, I truly believe that this is a watershed moment for our country and a day that we should take a small moment to consider the significance of.
What's the feedback been from friends and or constituents? What's the word coming in from Brisbane?
My phone has been running hot, and I promise all of those people who I haven't texted back, called back or written back to that I'll get back to them at some stage in the next 24 hours.
Okay, so what happens next in your party and the Parliament?
Well, the Parliament will do its thing, but in probably a fairly unique and beautiful way. Each of us now has the ability to vote according to our conscience, informed as we will be by these national survey results. I'm a supporter of the Dean Smith bill. I was very, very pleased to stand up with some of my colleagues about 100 days or so ago and demand that the stalemate that's existed on this issue for too many years be finally broken. That's happened. We're here today and the Parliament's going to do its thing. We're going to consider some amendments and some different bills, but I think we'll get this done by Christmas.
And what's your analysis of how the campaign ran? There were great concerns that it would bring upon a whole lot of nasty campaigning. Do you think it was run in a relatively healthy way?
Well, I had my faith in the Australian people and ultimately, you know, the great disinfectant and transparency that's provided by democracy, and ultimately I think that was borne out. It is fair to say that there were a very small minority of people on both sides who didn't understand that their free speech also comes with responsibilities, who didn't understand maybe that they shouldn't cross lines that they were free to but nonetheless shouldn't have. But their actions certainly don't reflect on the actions of the vast majority of Australians. 80% of people turned out they wanted to have their say, and they did so respectfully, and the result's very clear.
Now, you helped develop that bill. We've heard some criticisms of the bill, the Dean Smith bill, the committee bill, your bill. Do you think it has sufficient protections, or do you think it does need a bit of a tickle?
Well, I'm happy with it. It's why it's got my signature on it. Of course, I am very open to considering other amendments or proposals or particular scenarios or circumstances that we might not have considered. But bear in mind where this bill has come from. The reason it has such broad support, not just across the Parliament, across the Senate, across religious and community organisations, is because of where it's come from. This started with a Senate committee going out to consult with religious and other community organisations, specifically to try to make some recommendations about how you could draw the balance between protecting religious freedoms and achieving marriage equality. That's where this has come from. It's faithfully replicated the results, the recommendations of that Senate's work, and that's why it's a great starting point.
So tell viewers like what they can expect in the next few weeks. We obviously have this bill that's going to hit the Senate this week. debate and speeches will start Thursday, but when do you expect it to hit the House of the People, the House of Representatives?
The House of Representatives will be sitting again in the final week of November and then again in the first week of December. So somewhere over those 2 weeks, around the end of November, start of December, you'd expect debate to kick off. I think it is one where a lot of people will want to have their say, and there might be a number of technical or substantive amendments to be considered. So I don't think it's going to be all over and done and dusted in one day's debate. But I do think that you'll find that over the space of those 2 weeks, there'll be plenty of time. But if we require more time, I, for one, would be happy to keep politicians back down here in Canberra for as long as it takes before Christmas.
And just on a personal note, Trevor Evans, leading from behind, leading from the backbench, you really had to do a kamikaze or renegade run to bring this to a head. Was that an uncomfortable position? I suppose your tendency is to want to be a conformist and support the party. Just tell us to bring this to a head.
Well, look, there's no doubt that some colleagues and I played a fairly, important but nonetheless piecemeal role in bringing this debate forwards. It did look at one point, only 100 or so days ago, that there was this stalemate that could continue for years. We stood up.
You weren't prepared to accept that.
Well, that's right. So we stood up and asked for finding a new way forwards. The postal survey was a compromise that came out of some of those negotiations, and ultimately I think that the people of Brisbane have vindicated my actions. 4 out of 5 of them, 80% odd,
Very high.
voted yes.
Yeah. You certainly got the result you wanted. So Trevor Evans, for being here today and sharing your thoughts, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And good luck with all that lies ahead in the legislative process there. Now